research to treat Alzheimer's disease could soon come to the upstate. The Greenwood Genetics Center hopes to start up the project in the coming years. I visited the center to find out how this could help patients and explain what state funding could make it possible.
Stain the chromosomes and look at them under a microscope.
Dr. Steve Skinner is the director of the Greenwood Genetics Center in Greenwood County.
Usually there's 2 in each numbered pair.
For the last several decades, this center has conducted genetic research on mostly pediatric disorders. But now they want to look at Alzheimer's disease, specifically the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of our cells.
We see a lot of problems with mitochondria in our patients, so if we can understand that and have a treatment, it may benefit not only adults with Alzheimer's or Parkinson, but also a lot of the pediatric patients we see.
Evidence suggests that damaged mitochondria likely play a fundamental role in the progression of Alzheimer's disease. Dr. Skinner wants to study a new technology called MitoSense. It takes healthy mitochondria from one person and puts them inside another person.
Hopefully you can at least improve energy production in the cell, reduce inflammation and some of that cellular stress. We don't think it'll be a cure. I think the underlying mechanism will still be there, but at least maybe the cells will function better and it'll improve quality of life and extend quality of life.
The new research is thanks to $5 million proposed in Governor Henry McMaster's budget. It's named in honor of former Governor Carroll Campbell.
My brother was a 2-time governor of South Carolina. Prior to that, he was in the House of Representatives.
The federal courthouse in Greenville was also named in honor of him.
It's been in the making for 4 or 5 years.
Campbell died at the age of 65 from Alzheimer's disease. His sister, Ann, says he was officially diagnosed with the illness 5 years prior to that.
It knocked Carroll for a loop. He was in the prime of his life.
She watched as he lost his cognitive abilities within a matter of years.
Devastating. It was devastating.
She says currently there is very little research on Alzheimer's disease in the upstate area, and that's why this funding in Greenwood is so important.
The more we have outside of Charleston and Columbia, the more we have, the better.
If the funding is approved, Dr. Skinner says the research has the potential to help a lot of people.
If this is successful, that clinical trials are available in South Carolina and accessible for patients across the state. So that's why eventually we'll need to involve not just the VA hospital system, which many of these patients are there, but also Prisma and MUSC and SELF and other partners as well.
The governor's budget proposal is just an outline. Lawmakers still have to approve the spending plan. In past years, the budget was generally approved in June or July.